Hello everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel of Sri Swaminarayan Physiotherapy College, Ahmedabad. I'm Dr. Kamal Zaiwala and I'm here with my second video on spinal pathologies. In this video, I'll be covering about spondylosis, facet joint arthritis and spinal canal stenosis. Let us first start with spondylosis. Just like we have osteoarthritis in different joints of our body, the osteoarthritis of the spine or the degenerative osteoarthritis of the spine is known as spondylosis. It generally occurs as a sequel of the disc degeneration. So when there is increase in the intradiscal pressure, the longitudinal ligaments become slack and the extruded material from its periosteal vertebral attachment, it forms a bony spur-like tumor. When this spur-like tumor gets calcified, the spur can grow more in the size and it can encroach within the foramina, which will gradually lead to foraminal stenosis. In the image on the left hand side, you can see the picture of a normal spine, normal lumbar spine, whereas just adjacent to it, there is an image showing the description of a spondylotic spine. So in that, we can see that the intervertebral disc space is reduced, the height of the intervertebral disc is reduced, and there is a bony spur that is formed. So if this spur is formed on the posterior side, then it can encroach the foraminal space, which can further lead to foraminal stenosis. On the image on the right hand side, it is an X-ray image, a lateral view of the lumbar spine. In that, we can see reduced space between the L5 and S1 vertebrae. Also on the L5 vertebrae, on the anterior side of the L5 vertebrae body, we can see a bony spur-like formation and there is reduced foraminal space in between L5 and S1. These are the degenerative changes that we will generally see in case of spondylosis on an X-ray. The patient with spondylosis complains of stiffness and mild pain that gets worse following certain movements or following prolonged periods of immobilization, like for example after sitting for a very long duration. And it is very commonly seen in the older age group, that is above 60 years of age. Let us now come to facet joint. Facet joint is the articulation between the two adjacent vertebrae. A facet joint generally fits snugly together and it glides smoothly on one another. Both the articular surfaces of the facet are covered with an articular cartilage. When the pressure builds on the joint, the cartilage that covers the joint surfaces gets worn off and it gets eroded. When the disc goes into thinning with aging from daily wear and tear, the space between the two spinal vertebrae also shrinks, and because of this shrinkage, it will cause even more pressure on the facet joints and they will press together more, because of which the articular surfaces will get damaged. As in degenerative changes, when the spur forms around the edges of the facet joint becomes calcified and hypertrophied, which is known as facet joint hypertrophy, which is very commonly seen in the X-ray and the CT of lumbar spine when we talk about facet joint arthritis patients. Patient with facet joint arthritis will generally complain of pain during the extension motion of the spine. The reason being, on the right hand side figure, as you can see, that when the lumbar spine goes into flexion, the facet joint opens. That is, while bending forward, the facet joint will open, hence there will be no approximation between the articular surfaces of the facet joint. Whereas in extension, as you can see in the figure, there is complete approximation of the facet joints, which will lead to compression of the articular surfaces of the facet, which will increase the pain in the patient. Hence, facet joint arthritis has a very characteristic feature of pain during extension of the lumbar spine. The image on the right hand side is the CT of the lumbar spine. In that, in image B, we can see that there is a reduced articular space in the facet joint, whereas in figure C, we can appreciate that there is hypertrophy of the facet joint present. In image A, we can appreciate that the joint space between the two articular surfaces of the facet joint is reduced. That is, the portion where the arrow is shown, you can appreciate that thing. So patients with facet joint arthritis generally come with characteristic features which make it easy to diagnose in patients. Now coming to spinal canal stenosis. Stenosis word means narrowing. Spinal canal stenosis is a condition in which either a part of the spinal canal or the entire spinal canal gets stenosed. Spinal canal stenosis can be of two types, primary or secondary. Sometimes it can also be in the combined form, that is, both the causes can be together overlapped. Primary canal stenosis is generally because of the degenerative changes that occur in the spine, whereas secondary stenosis is because of the acquired causes or acquired pathologies. Acquired spinal stenosis can occur as a sequel of event in spondylolysis and spondylolisthesis, as we have seen in the previous videos. Whereas degenerative spinal stenosis occurs in patients from 50 to 70 years of age, and it occurs as a sequel of events of degeneration that we have seen previously in this video. The symptoms of spinal canal stenosis are generally worsened by walking or standing, and this is also referred to as neurological claudication. Claudication is a Latin term that is used for limping. So, a patient with neurogenic claudication will generally complain of painful cramps or weakness in one or both the limbs. This cramping pain or weakness is generally accompanied by discomfort, pain, numbness, weakness in the calf, buttocks or thigh, which is precipitated by generally walking or prolonged standing. This pain classically gets relieved by changing the position of the spine or by flexion of the waist. In this way, it can be differentiated from vascular claudication, which generally does not change with change in the position of the spine. Therefore, it will be very characteristic complaints of patients with neurogenic claudication to have more difficulty or pain and weakness in standing and walking than having difficulty in climbing steps or pushing or pulling activities or cycling. The term neurogenic claudication is also sometimes interchangeably used with spinal stenosis. In MRI of the spinal canal stenosis, we will be able to appreciate the compression of the spinal cord or compression of the spinal nerve roots and chorda equina. It can be clearly appreciated in myelogram or in the lateral MRI of the spine. Because the spinal canal stenosis has varied causes, it is very important that once the patient complains of neurogenic claudication, we rule out that due to which condition is this patient suffering from spinal canal stenosis. It is only then we will be successful in treating the patient with spinal canal stenosis. So this is all for the spinal pathologies for this time. I'll be covering a few more spinal pathologies that are remaining in my next video. Thank you so much for listening to the video. I hope I have been a little helpful to you for clearing the spinal pathologies. And to get regular updates, kindly like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.